So, I don't have a pad on me. I guess I do. I'm lying. I have a pad on me. I do not have a leverless device on me. The only leverless device I had was borrowed from a friend, and I gave it back. And they gave it to someone else so they could try leverless, and I think they've been holding on to it, which is good. Because that means more people trying fighting games and playing fighting games, because I just want everyone to succeed whatever way they want. It's not breaking some sort of actual cardinal rule when it comes to fighting games, which is cheating. As long as everyone's in competitive spirits together, I think it's A-okay. Capcom, on the other hand, fucking disagrees. So, they made a few changes. And mainly to leverless devices. So let's go ahead and look into it. So, with the adoption of Street Fighter 6 as the title for the Capcom Pro Tour in 2023, hereafter referred to as CPT, there will be changes to the controller usage rules for the new season. Let me turn the music down. There we go. Hope I turned it down enough. I actually turned it up. All right, so the fighting game genre has seen numerous groundbreaking changes over its long history. Most recently, with the advent and increased adoption of leverless controllers, Capcom constantly studies and reviews new developments in controller technology, evaluating their advantages and disadvantages while taking into consideration the difference between controller input and controller behavior in the game, which finally leads us to making informed and justified adjustments to our controller usage rules to ensure the highest levels of competition fairness. The new rule we are putting forth is designed to ensure all leverless controllers operate to a universal standard regardless of their make or model at competitive Capcom sanctioned events. I added an extra word in there. I said competitive. Shut the fuck up. With this in mind, we've decided to make the following change. If up and down directions are pressed at the same time, both inputs must be maintained or both inputs must be rejected. So, for anyone who doesn't understand what that means, grab a pad. If I press up on my handy dandy lever, yes, this is possible. This is an actual way to play the game. So anyone who thinks you can only do this on leverless devices, this doesn't matter. You can do it on fucking controllers too. It's technically leverless. There's no fucking lever on this. Hold this shit. Fucking pad players can cheat too. Anyways, you hold up on your analog stick and down on your D-pad at the same time. Maybe kind of like this in like a claw style. That cannot lead to down or up in the input registry for the video game. That has to lead to neutral. It can lead to up plus down, which I don't know what that would do, but it says here if up plus down directions are pressed at the same time, both inputs must be maintained, which means it either has to give you up and down at the same time or it has to give you neutral, which would be rejecting the input, right? To clarify, if up and down inputs are made simultaneously, the character must not perform a jump or a crouch action. And if left and right inputs are pressed simultaneously, the character must not perform a forward or back movement. Now, this is actually really interesting because in Street Fighter 5, if you were pressing back and forward at the same time on two different input devices, or on the same input device, but two different input styles, or A and D on your keyboard, say you're a keyboard warrior, or 4 and 6 on your button box on your leverless, you would get towards the opponent. You would always get in Street Fighter 5 towards the opponent. And if you press down and up at the same time, up would always be given. That means if you're pressing back and forward at the same time, you are not blocking, which I thought was fair. Forward led to some weird shortcuts for DPs that I'm sure still exist in other ways. Just like this change, it really looks like it's made to specifically hurt Guile and charge style characters with flash kick DPs. What it neglects to realize is that's actually the minimal amount of the roster. There's less charge characters that are doing these kinds of things that Guile is doing on defense than there are characters that are doing quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, and Z motions. And with the input leniency that has been given to Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, there's going to be really fucked up shortcuts. Hitbox are going to find them very quickly. Lab nerds are going to find them very quickly. Just by labbing out this change in their head, right? Because now you're getting neutral in certain situations. And I think this is actually terrifying for a game like Tekken. If every box starts using these, that means doing something like electric is going to be really easy, because it's just forward, down, forward, neutral, forward, right? You could like press up and down at the same time to engage neutral, let them go into forward, to then get forward. So I guess it's forward, down, neutral, down, forward, right? So you would then have to press two buttons simultaneously after, but you'd release one of the buttons. And releasing buttons on leverless actually feels significantly more cohesive. It makes a lot more sense than it does to like blink or tap buttons. So I don't know who they were. I know who they were targeting. They were targeting specifically Guile with changes like this. But I don't know if it actually changes too much of the other shortcuts. So this might actually fuck some shit up pretty bad. Oh shit. Also, they've done a few other things. That was like the main thing. I don't know if they've ever mentioned this or if this is new. Okay. Keyboard usage. Keyboard are only allowed if the tournament platform, if the platform using the tournament is Steam. However, keyboards must adhere to the rules in the same manner as controllers. The keyboard alone is not allowed to compete in offline CPT events and must be paired with a controller. The paired controller must simply be connected to the PC and must not be used for character control, but only for the game program to recognize the keyboard as the player. If both players in an offline CPT group wish to use keyboard, they may do so by playing online from, oh my gosh, from the custom room to computers, as long as the internet connection available to connect to CFN. Oh my gosh, this is awful. This fucks keyboard players. I mean, they are allowed to play, but they have to play offline. They have to play offline LAN or online LAN. That's crazy. That's the only way if two keyboard players meet up. These rules are for the competitive sanctity of Street Fighter 6, but I think that what they don't understand is it actually puts in a lot of backlash for keyboard for like leverless device manufacturers, and it also makes it a really dark and scary precedent for what was I gonna say? For like other games, right? This could easily bleed out into other games or other events, because maybe it's just not right, but because Capcom is doing it. Capcom is the biggest fighting game franchise, right? They have Street Fighter under their belt. They have the biggest fighting game franchise. So because of that, unfortunately, that's pretty scary. It means these could be really big sweeping changes. And I think, let me see, there's actually a few, there might be an example or two. Also, I think Hitbox put out a tweet. Let's take a look. Yeah, Hitbox put out a tweet. Please know that we empathize with all of these new concerns and uncertainty for our existing and new customers. This is still a developing situation, which we ensure has our full attention. We are confident that we will be able to provide a solution to our customers that will comply with any changes to rule sets. While Capcom and Street Fighter are important to the fighting game community, they do not represent the community as a whole. The larger tournament community and its leaderships have already ruled many times over that the current SOCD solutions, I'll explain SOCD here in a second, and our controllers are appropriate for tournament play. We firmly stand by and believe in this standard, a standard that was set more than a decade ago, and that is still implemented to this day. Up plus down equals up. Now, I'm going to be honest, when playing on Hitbox, on 2D games, it actually made sense to literally just never let go of down to jump, because it gave me up, so I'm not going to let go of down. It also makes it so that in certain instances, if you're trying to crouch and use a move from crouch, you're doing it on like a pad. Let me grab a pad, one sec. So if you're doing this on like a pad and you want to make sure that you're not, you should probably do it on an arcade stick, because you can do this on pad too. So let me lean over down to my arcade stick. You guys can see my food. I'm sorry. Don't look at it. Don't be weird. Just look at my controller. So if it's good, brother. Yeah. If you want to, yeah, don't look at my food, you weirdo. So if you want to go from down to up, usually there will at least be a 1 frame gap in between on the lever. Food, drink, yeah, sweet tea is delicious, right? So say you're trying to do like a guile flash kick. You're holding down or down back, and then you want to go up back and then press the button, right? There's going to be like some sort of a 1 frame gap in between there. You can't get fast enough at it that it becomes second nature and you don't have to worry about that gap in between, which means that if there's stuff that you're trying to avoid above your head, like an air projectile or something, and you have a move that's projectile invulnerable, you don't have to stand up into said projectile. That's actually really important, and I think that there's like an instance of that in Street Fighter 5. I think Akuma's air projectile EX like kind of lingers above your head, and if you're Guile from crouch, you can use your flash kick without having to stand up if you are fast enough. Really hard to do on stick. It's possible, but it's hard to do. On Hitbox, because of the way that the SOCD works and you never hit neutral, you go straight from down to up without ever hitting neutral and also without having to let go of buttons. It's very easy to outplay that situation. On pad, you know, you would say that like, oh, you just do this and this and you do it really fast and you get it, right? You just do that. Yeah, it's just like that, right? Sure, you could even do it here, right? You hold down back like that and you just go really fast. Or pad players can fucking cheat too. You can literally hold down and then tap up and you never hit neutral in this instance. I'm holding down back and then I'm pressing up and you never hit neutral in this instance. It's something that stick does not have access to. Hitbox and pad do. It's very awkward to do on pad, but it is possible, and it's something that some pad players have done and have been doing for years because it's just tournament standard. It's something that you can take advantage of as a tournament player, and it only makes your device better. There's no reason to not use every advantage you are given that is not breaking the rules. Now, unfortunately, this would be considered breaking the rules. This will not work anymore. The SOCD cleaning in your controller cannot allow this, and if it does, software in the game will make it so that it doesn't. I'm gonna be real. I'm a stick player. Everyone being down on my level feels awful. I know that stick is supposed to be the worst input device. Okay, I don't play on stick because it's the best input device and it's super fucking sick and I'm gonna win all these tournament matches on it because I'm a god and only gods play on arcade sticks. No, I'm a fucking FTC boomer. Okay, I love arcade sticks because they remind me of a bygone era, the arcades that I didn't start in. I started with like Bloody Roar. Start in arcades, but I played a whole hell of a lot of Soul Calibur 2 in the arcades and a whole lot of Soul Calibur 3 Arcade Edition, fuckers. Okay, so like I remember the arcades and even VC2, of course. But because I remember these games and I remember the layout and I remember the cabinet and the feel and the noise of all the buttons and all the surroundings and the lights, I'm closing my eyes and reminiscing. That is why I play on arcade stick. I don't play on arcade stick because it feels comfortable. It feels comfortable. Okay. But it doesn't mean that every device has to succumb to the weaknesses of an arcade stick. Now, I think that preemptively Capcom doing this is their attempt to not segregate the market and remove leverless from competition. They actually want leverless to still be able to compete, but be on a more manageable and fair level with pad and stick. Some people say that this is trying to alienate alienate leverless and kind of get them to not want to play. No, Capcom isn't stupid. They don't have to do that. They could just fucking ban it. It's their competitive scene. They could just literally ban it. Duh. What they're doing is they're making it so that it's more in line with the other things that already exist in the game, which I think is okay. I don't particularly like it because I think nerfing Guile in this way also has like really bad negative implications for a lot of other things, right? Like that instance I just mentioned where if something's hovering above your head like some sort of a lingering projectile and you have like a projectile invulnerable move from crouch, you don't have to be very fast. You can just do the normal thing you would have done before without having to let go of down to get your flash kick or to get your shoryu or whatever. Now Guile won't have shortcuts like that, but other characters might still have them. Like you might be able to do DPs from crouch that you weren't able to do before because now you're holding down back. and you press 2 buttons to go to neutral, and then on the same frame, press the other buttons you need for your DP as a shortcut, you might be able to DP from crouch in 1 frame. I don't know. I'm not a hitbox genius, but it sounds like something that could now happen because both directions always each row neutral, whether it's forward and back or down and up. I don't know why I did down and up like that when I know damn well up is this. My bad. It's back, down, forward, up. Anyways, so for anyone who doesn't understand what SOCD is, SOCD is an acronym. SOCD was mentioned in this via their rule set, and actually, holy crap. Uh-oh. They have an example. I see it right here. SOCD stands for simultaneous opposite cardinal direction. And hitboxes have a built-in SOCD cleaner where they say if this plus this, then it equals this, right? If left plus right, then it equals neutral. If down plus up, it equals up. If down forward plus up forward equals up, right? Like that's just how, maybe it equals up forward. I don't know. That's just how hitbox has always worked, or at least since they've made these SOCD changes, because very early games where people were using hitbox, these changes were not adopted and these changes were not known of. Right? You used to have to block on both sides in Marvel. In Marvel 3 on incoming, if you were on a hitbox, someone like knocked out your character and brought the next one in, and you didn't want to worry about left-right mix-ups, on a lever you cannot do this. You can only hold one direction, back or forward, right? To beat cross up or to beat front side mix up. On leverless, you can hold back and forward at the same time in older games like that do not give true neutral, that do not have an SOCD cleaner, and you will actually get both inputs, leading you to blocking on both sides. You can also do it on pad. Very easy. You just hold this way or this way, whichever is more comfortable for you, and then you press this button right here and you hold those on incoming, and bada bing bada boom, can't open my ass up on fucking incoming, idiot, right? And that's not the standard anymore. You can't really do things like that most of the time. And I think that where we've been at with hitboxes for the past 7 or 8 years or so has been good, because it's been allowing a lot more people who can't actually play on a pad because it's too cramped for their hands, and they have hand issues or joint issues or wrist issues, a way to play the games that they enjoy. And some people just literally do not feel comfortable on an arcade stick. It's from a bygone era. They never played in arcades. They don't know the first thing around a fucking arcade stick. They're just like, do I hold it like a wine glass? How do I hold this shit? You know, like, so because that's not comfortable and natural for everyone, I don't think we should force people to play on one specific device. Just let people play on the device that is not cheating. I'm gonna be real. Hitbox, cheaterbox is not actually cheating, because we have these rules in place, and they've been working pretty well. Now, unfortunately, I see this video. I don't want to watch it, so let's turn this off. And this is showing what happens in true neutral for SOCD. Let's take a look. Down plus up will become 4 stand. Okay. Okay, that's also true neutral. So crouch block plus SOCD stand. Oh my gosh, you can 1 frame fuzzy overheads. This looks awful. Oh no. Instead of getting jump and jumping into an overhead, now, motherfucker, you can just fuzzy overheads. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. 1 frame fuzzy overheads. Oh my god. SOCD backdash. SOCD backdash from crouch? Come on, man. Are you sure you want true neutral? Instant quarter circle forward. What's he doing? I think my face is in the way, right, chat? Do we need to move my big ass head? Let's move my big ass head. Right, let's start over so you guys can see this whole thing. Hold up. Hold the fuck up. This is insane. This is crazy. This is what happens when we do true neutral for both directions. Damn, that's crazy. Fuzzy blocking overheads that quickly. That basically mitigates overheads. That means if you can ever react to an overhead, the overhead no longer matters because you don't even have to think. You don't have. There's no real response time between you seeing the overhead and blocking it. That's scary. SOCD backdash from crouch. Okay, so what is he doing? So he's going. Oh, because it gives him neutral. I see. So he's going down, left plus right, up, forward. What the fuck? Down, left plus right, up, forward. What the fuck? What the? And now he's doing forward, up plus down, back. What the fuck? This is disgusting. This is so much worse. Yeah, goodbye, Guile. Yeah, forward. It looks like he's doing forward, down plus up, back. I don't think this is okay. I think this made things significantly worse. Yeah, so force stand, giving you true neutral both ways is probably something that the Hitbox team has thought about for a very long time, right? And if they tested it in 5, I'm sure they tested it in 6, so let's take a looky-loo. Escape. Let's go to this tweet. We will continue to support our community and our customers regardless of rule set changes. Tested in Street Fighter 5, but applicable in Street Fighter 6. So, I'm going to be quite honest. These changes don't affect me. I don't play on box. I don't care. But it seems like Hitbox already knew what was going on. They already understood, and they didn't want to change the ruling because they don't think that it's healthy for the community. But they will change their ruling to ensure that their customers get a good experience. I love that. I love that for them. That's really smart. They may have just made a way more broken controller, but I think that's okay. It's not their fault. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. And how do I feel about this personally? I feel like trying to change the competitive integrity and the competitive spirit of something that's been existing for about 10 years and has been working thus far is a fool's errand. Don't fix what ain't broken. And the Hitbox is not broken. The Hitbox has worked for 10 years in its current iteration, and I think it would have continued to work in its current iteration for a long time more. Right? There are shortcuts that you have access to that can be changed on a software side. You do not have to specifically change these. Like, these should be changed on a software level with the game, if that's what you want. But trying to demand that these be changed on a software level, on a hardware level, is scary. Because now you're just creating new shortcuts and inputs for every other game. You are literally creating a tidal wave of change across the entire FGC for one thing that you want for your game. I'm sure no one from Capcom is watching this who has any power. But if you are, I think this change is awful for the entirety of the FGC. This is not just about you and Street Fighter 6. This change should have been thought of the entirety of the FGC, because Street Fighter is so big that other games might follow suit if this sticks. Now, as a company, Capcom could try to pull the, oh, I'm just a small guy, bro. Why is everyone copying and following me? But like, you created a game that everyone has tried to copy and follow for 30 fucking years now. That's kind of where every fighting game came from, is Street Fighter and Karate Man, right? I guess Karate Man. It's Street Fighter. We won't talk about that. Capcom, you've made a phenomenal fighting game franchise, and you've made a phenomenal home inside of the FGC and created basically the FGC off of its back, right? But I would hate to see all of that hard work that Hitbox has done to create a stable competitive environment thrown on its heels for something so fucking silly. Because this shit looks fucking silly. This doesn't look okay. This doesn't look okay. And this is with your new rule set. They're only complying with what you wanted and showing you the applications for what you asked for. Instant Fireball seems kind of neat, though. Anyways, if you enjoyed the talk segment, I'm back. Full swing. onto the YouTube. I don't make any money off of YouTube. So if you want to make me feel like I'm doing something cool, just hit like on the video and subscribe to the channel and shit. Just do that. You don't have to. I guess you could come to the Twitch stream and throw me a sub if you have the money, or a Twitch Prime. Or you can just come to the stream and vibe out and hang out while we create these videos and while we continue to play fighting games, because I'm all here for it. I'm very, very ready for Street Fighter 6 and have been playing a whole host of other games while getting ready. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. The Beanie Thuggish signing out and saying